Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Hari Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Personally, welcome everyone for coming this evening to what Srila Prabhupada called the Love Feast or Bhakti Feast. So I thought today we could discuss Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, text number 1. A very beautiful verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shrinu Me Paramam Vacha Yate Ham Priyamanaya Bhakshami Hitakamyaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." Everyone can repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
"Listen again,
Listen again,
O mighty armed Arjuna,
O mighty armed Arjuna,
because you are my dear friend,
because you are my dear friend.
for your benefit I shall speak to you further,
For your benefit I shall speak to you further,
giving knowledge that is better
giving knowledge that is better
than what I have already explained."
than what I have already explained.
Purport. The word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashara Muni, one who is full of 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all 6 opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashara Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be Krishna conscious. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Om Jnana Tinamandasya Vinamjana Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Chaitanya-manobhishtam stapitam-yen bhutale swayam-upatam aham-varat-vishva padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Debe Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Srinivadvipasthyaste Shataye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very beautiful verse Of course, all verses in Bhagavad Gita are ultimately very beautiful. But this is very special. Some special words are here. Here Krishna is assuring everyone that he will personally take care of them. So we were just discussing this a few minutes ago, which is why I was a few minutes late, that what does it mean that Krishna is taking care of us personally? Is it like Krishna has nothing better to do than to hang out with us? No. Tasya karyam karanam chidhyate tat shamas chavikasta vishite. And this is part of the Upanishad. It says that Krishna is the one person who has nothing to do. Nothing to do doesn't mean he's lying. It means that we would think, I would love to have nothing to do. I mean, I could just hang out. It means that there's no obligation. Yet Krishna does have an obligation. He says, well, first in Bhagavad Gita, he gives what determines the level of obligation. That in the same proportion that someone surrenders to me, I reciprocate with them. So if I give 30% to Krishna, he gives me 30%, and everything else is taken care of by Maya. But actually it's 100%, because Maya belongs to Krishna. The second part of that verse that I just spoke, Parasya Shaktir Vividaya Vishyate. Krishna has unlimited energy. And these energies are so wonderful that Swabhaviki Ganabalar Priyacha. That Swabhaviki, they can act automatically. Just like we have many energies. Someone may have the energy, just like Srila Prabhupada just explained in the purport, that Krishna has six, according to Parashara Muni, Krishna has 6 basic opulences or energies. Knowledge, fame, etc. So, certainly, we may have certain opulences or energies. Someone may be very intelligent. Someone may be very strong. Someone may be very charismatic. Someone may be this or that. But we have to direct those energies personally. I have to apply my intelligence. I have to apply my vision, or apply my somewhere. I have to do it. But Krishna Swabhaviki, he does it. It happens automatically. He has to make no effort. So that's in one sense what it means that he has nothing to do. Another sense is, as Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says that actually I have nothing to do with these 3 worlds. I have everything to do with the spiritual world, but even in the spiritual world, it's Yoga Maya potency that is influencing the devotees and manifesting. Just like the Krishna wants to dance with the gopis and in Goloka Vrindavan, then all of a sudden, by Yoga Maya's potency, it becomes dark. It's nighttime. It's not like there's so many hours and the sun comes up and the sun goes down. Whatever Krishna wants. If he wants to play with his cowherd boys, then it becomes daytime. So, Yoga Maya automatically obeys. If we surrendering to Krishna means that we automatically obey. This is first class. This was discussed in the pastime of Yayati Maharaj. Yayati Maharaj, he was cursed because of a mistake he made with Shukracharya. You don't want to mess with Shukracharya. Not the right person. Because he's the Brahmin of the demons, which means he can become angry very easily. So he got cursed that he would immediately experience old age. And he felt, I got an unfulfilled desire. It's like sometimes we want to serve Krishna, but this same illusion covers us. Oh, but I have unfulfilled things to do. It's like Bhakti Sundar Maharaj told the story yesterday of Kailash. I heard it under a different name. Some of these stories these are not stories from the Puranas necessarily. There's some stories by Vaishnavas. They have different, anyway, he had Krishna's calling him. But Krishna's calling all of us. It's not that Krishna's not calling. When he says, Sarvanamam Harichaja, Mami, it's a personal petition from Krishna. Surrender to me. Not even a petition. He doesn't say please. If you have time, or if you're not working, or you don't have any other, No. He says, you must surrender to me. So Lord Chaitanya, Krishna appears in the form of Lord Chaitanya, and he said people will not be able to surrender to Krishna in this age. This was the Narada Muni, described by Lochandal Thakur. Narada Muni was flying through the space one day, and he entered, through his mind, he entered into Kali Yuga. And he was seeing the effects of Kali Yuga. He became very disturbed. How will people take up spiritual life? This is the whole purpose of the Bhagavatam was spoken for this very purpose. How will people understand Vedic teachings in Kali Yuga? And the sages of Naimisharanya came together. It was such a bewildering question, they couldn't figure it out. There's so many great sages. So many great sages. But they couldn't, anything else they could figure out very easily, but they couldn't figure it out. So Narada Muni also, he was thinking, what will we do? He saw so many things. So he went to Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. He has that ability. Practically no one, just like Durvasa Muni, he was able to enter into the realm of Shirodakshai Vishnu. But that's all. He couldn't go farther than that. And that was very special because he's a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva, and therefore he could do that. But Narada Muni can go directly to Goloka Vrindavan. And so Narada Muni, he came here before the Lord. The Lord says, yes, how can I help you? I'm very worried. I just saw this vision of Kali Yuga. And Krishna said, don't worry. I just had a conversation with Rukmini. She was telling me that there's something I don't know. And I was thinking, how is that? I know everything. Everything comes from me. That everything, knowledge, remembrance, forgiveness, all comes from me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything material and spiritual comes from me. How can you say that? He says, no, you don't know the power of your lotus feet. Your lotus feet are so powerful that they enter into our hearts and completely purify us and make us so blissful. But you don't understand it. The person who understands this the best, 100%, is only Srimati Radharani. Krishna was thinking, oh, there is something I don't understand. So let me take the sentiments of Srimati Radharani. Well, he just had that conversation, then Narada Muni showed up. So he said, don't worry. I'm going to appear in Kali Yuga. And I will make Kali Yuga blissful. And then the Lord was meditating on that desire. And he took the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu right before Narada Muni. And Narada Muni saw that he was awestruck, he fainted. And then he woke up, he fainted again. Then he woke up and he said, Narada Muni, you will accompany me. And together we will conquer the effects of Kali Yuga by giving everyone the holy name of Krishna, by giving everyone Krishna Prema. He will come, of course he was speaking, Narada Muni would come in the form of Srivas Thakur. So, and then he took the form of Krishna again. And immediately, after all the residents of Goloka Vrindavan saw that, they performed an abhishek. They were all just full of bliss, seeing Krishna's desire that, because this, why would Krishna want Kali Yuga to come? Such a miserable age. Well, because first of all, we deserve it. If we're here, it's not because, Krishna is like the lottery. He just puts our name and pulls it out. Okay, you Kali Yuga. Oh, you get Sakti Yuga. Like Krishna, he's knowing that everybody deserves this. But because Krishna loves everyone so much, he has to make an arrangement. Now, of course, in other Kali Yugas, he comes in the form of Gaura Narayan, a golden form of Narayan, but it's not Lord Chaitanya. But he still gets the holy name, but it's not empowered like the holy name in this age. That means that this Kali Yuga is even more intense than any other Kali Yuga, which probably means that most of us are not very good citizens. We were discussing this morning in Bhagavatam. We're like, Australia. Australia was like an island where they sent all the prisoners. And so, no, but now it's kind of a jolly place, but at that time it wasn't so nice. And this is a very famous thing in many countries. They always have an island where they send the prisoners, the worst prisoners. So, actually, it explains in Chaitanya Bhagavat that by Lord Chaitanya's arrangement, Kali Yuga was accelerated this time. Why did that happen? That means that normally what's happening now in Kali Yuga, all these things, strange mentalities, that would be happening maybe after another 100,000 years. But it's happening right now after 5,000 years. Why is that? So that Lord Chaitanya could show the power of the holy name. And therefore he accelerated Kali Yuga. So we have a great challenge, but we have a great opportunity. This is the nature of Kali Yuga. So going back to this verse, that therefore Krishna is very desirous. Therefore he's speaking to us. We were talking about this just before coming here. Personally. When Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, he's speaking to us personally. But it's not that, Vrindavan Krishna is coming, every time I open up Bhagavad Gita, Vrindavan Krishna is there, stops playing his flute so he can speak to us, so that I can hear. But he's speaking to us personally. So that's what it means. Krishna personally appears in this sound vibration. Shabda Brahman. And he personally makes arrangements for us. And here, because our Arjuna is taking the position of us, just like Srila Prabhupada says here in his purport, that that Krishna, from the 7th chapter, 8th and 9th chapter, Krishna revealed the nature of devotional service. The middle 6 chapters are bhakti. The first 6 chapters are Sankhya. The last 6 chapters are Jnana. And these 6 chapters are bhakti. So, and the previous verse to this verse is the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. It is the most confidential verse. Manmana Bhagavan Bhakto Mam Yaji Mam Namaskaru Mam Vibhashasi Yuktaya Vam Atmanam Matparayana. Right in the middle, the heart of Bhagavad Gita. Always think of me and become my devotee. Always worship me and always follow my direction. Always be absorbed in me, and this way you will come to me. This is the most intimate verse. And right after that, in the very middle, comes the Chatushloki. Aham Savasya, just like I just said. Much Dhammatapana. That my devotees are always meditating on me because everything is coming from me, everything is emanating from me. Therefore my devotees are always hearing about me and speaking about me. And they derive Tushanticha Rahamticha. They derive great pleasure and satisfaction from this. And so, what he's saying here, what is Krishna saying? And Srila Prabhupada translates it, that Shrinu me paramam vachaha, that I am going to give you something better. Now we discussed this today, good, better, and best. So, spiritual world means best. But in the spiritual world, especially in Goloka Vrindavan, best also has higher degrees. There's 100%, everything starts at 100% in the spiritual world and goes up from there. And everything in the material world is 100% and below. So, this is a very special aspect. Paramam vachaha. I'm giving something better. That means there's even something greater that will be given later. And that comes at the end of the 11th chapter. And the 12th chapter. He concludes Bhakti. Well, why didn't he just conclude Bhagavad Gita at the end of the 12th chapter? Why go on for 6 more chapters? Because he establishes the atmosphere in which Bhakti can prosper. Those are the last 6 chapters. And he explains the presence of Paramatma, how Krishna is always with us in the 13th chapter. 14th chapter explains the modes of nature, how you have to transcend them, how powerful they are, and how they're always acting. So it's like creating the circumstances in which Bhakti can manifest. Then the 15th chapter, he explains the workings of Paramatma. 16th chapter, what we have to watch out for, the maniac quality. One of the first ones mentioned, is pride. Very dangerous thing. Even in the material atmosphere, they say pride comes before the fall. So, pride is a very dangerous thing. And then, 17th chapter, he begins to explain faith. And then he goes into the faith and the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying, Shrinu, if you want to know this truth, Shrinu. And Srila Prabhupada says this in his 2nd paragraph of his purport. If you want to understand me, Shrinu, you must hear about me. This is so important. Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita, and he reveals this to Arjuna. Bhakshami hitta kamyaya. I'm speaking this only for your benefit. It's not that, I wanted to give a lecture, or, I just wanted to say something. He said, this is nothing's in it for me. This is all for you. And this demonstrates the compassionate nature of Krishna. He's simply doing everything for our benefit. This is a very important thing. Because sometimes we try to separate according to our likes and dislikes. What I like about Krishna, and I wonder why Krishna does this, especially in relation to me, because I'm a good person. Most of us think like that. I'm a good person, I'm trying to be a good devotee. We have all these conceptions. So, when Krishna says this, it has two meanings. The first meaning is that Krishna is only doing it for us. And the second meaning is, whatever is happening to you, it's not that I'm doing something, that I didn't like what you did, and therefore I'm going to slap you around with material energy. Like Maharaj mentioned yesterday, Nityananda slapping crocodiles. And playing, sometimes he would grab their tails and agitate them. And that's when he would slap them. He'd grab the tail, and they would turn around and he would slap them. And they would roll it. But actually they felt good. If you get slapped by Nityananda, just like Shivananda is saying, they were walking toward Jagannath Puri, all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And they arrived at, they would stop, and then somebody would cook, but somehow or another the cook didn't get there in time. And Nityananda said, so where's the arrangement? Where's the food? No, nothing was ready. So Nityananda said, call Shivananda Singh. And he said, what kind of management is this? And he kicked Shivananda Singh in the stomach. And his wife, and then he said, if you don't prepare things, may one of your sons die. His wife, oh no. And then she came to Shivananda, no, please tell him no, that you can't do that. You can't. Sometimes we think like that. Krishna, please don't do it. Whatever you do, don't decrease my bank account. Whatever you do, if you give me a little sick, or, dent the car or something, that's okay. I can handle that. But don't do this. So she was thinking like that. He said, foolish woman, if Nityananda blesses our son that he will die, then that is his blessing. And if he kicks me in the stomach, that is his blessing. I feel so blessed. So, this is a lesson to us. Whatever Krishna is doing, it's not Krishna directly necessarily, but it's what he's doing. He's arranging. This is his arrangement. It's perfect. Vishwapunam Sukayate, as Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says, everything in the universe is perfect because it's all being done by Krishna. I can see no imperfection. Srila Prabhupada said once that the only thing that is imperfect is the imperfect understanding of the perfect. There's everything perfect, but my understanding is imperfect. So Krishna is telling us here, I don't want you to have an imperfect understanding. I want you to understand everything that's happening in your life is for your benefit. This is another lesson. And of course, it also demonstrates his compassion. I have made every arrangement for you. I have made all arrangements. They're carried out by my energies. But I make this arrangement. I can do this. I'm within everyone's heart. I'm within every atom. Sometimes we have the saying, not a blade of grass moves without Krishna. This comes from the Vedas. Even though it's like a saying, common saying everywhere. It's actually a Vedic pastime. One time Indra, Agni, and Vayu, they were a little puffed up. So Lord Narayana appeared before them. And he said, so, you think you are very powerful? So, take this blade of grass. Indra, destroy that blade of grass. And the thunderbolt, blade of grass stood up. Another thunderbolt. Another. Okay, Agni, burn this blade of grass. Agni couldn't burn it. Then he said to Vayu, move this blade of grass. So Vayu, hurricane force wind, tornado, devastating winds of the destruction of the universe wouldn't move. So therefore not a blade of grass can move without the will of God. This actually comes from the Debe. And then why is this happening? Yatteham priyamanaya. Because you are very dear to me. Now, Krishna is not speaking to Arjuna in this moment as the Arjuna who sat down on a couch or a bed with him and they were laughing and talking. He's speaking to the Arjuna who is affected by Yoga Maya and representing us. Krishna is saying to us, you are very dear to me. Surinam Sarvabhutanam, Krishna says in the 5th chapter. I am your best friend. The only problem is you don't realize that. You've chosen someone else to be your best friend. You've chosen someone else to be the object of your worship. But I am your best friend. But we are imprisoned by Maya, and therefore we don't understand it. Like a prisoner. Sometimes a prisoner develops a very negative, antagonistic attitude toward the government. They lock me up. But we should consider how much of a prisoner I am. Just like in Russia, maybe some of you have seen me, they have these dolls, right? They're like this big. And you open it, it's divided in half. You open it up, and there's another doll inside. Then you open that up, there's another doll inside. And you open that one up, till you get down to a little tiny doll. About, it depends on, I've seen it like 15, a little tiny doll. So that's like us. First there's the anda, the covering of the universe. That's the big one. Then within the universe. Or first there's the covering of the Mahatattva. That's the biggest prison. And then there's the covering of the universe. And then there's the atmosphere of our planet, keeping us here. And then we're in a country and we're imprisoned by the laws. You can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do this, you have to pay your taxes. That's the most important law in every country. If you kill someone, you can get off. But if you don't pay your taxes, you do it. So, imprisoned by government policy, you have to have a passport to leave. And then we're imprisoned in all kinds of different conceptions. I am a Trinity. I am black, white, Hindu, Muslim. I am this and that, man, woman, and so many other varieties that are now manifested. I am, and then I am within this body. So how many coverings do we have? So to break through all of this covering, this requires something very great. And that is what Krishna was contemplating when Narada Muni came to speak to him. He was contemplating, I have to empower the holy name. I have to show how powerful this holy name is. And to do that, Lord Chaitanya sent Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Bhakti Sundar Maharaj said yesterday, Shunu Shunu Nityananda Shunu Haridas. So, Sarvatra Amara Vyaya, that you must take my order. Bhakti Gari Gari Diya, every door, every place. Koyoi Bhiksha, and you beg them. Nityananda would go to everyone's house and he would beg. And people would think, oh, he's come, they think, oh, give him some rice, You're sending it on his way. Some beggars what they do. No, I am not begging some object from you. I am begging you, please take this holy name. Please take this mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Nityananda approached Jagaya Madai, when he first saw Jagaya Madai, he saw these two. They were very beautiful because they were, from a very high Brahmin family. Very beautiful features. He saw these very beautiful people, but they were acting in a very improper way. So he asked one Brahmin, who are they? Oh, that's Jagadananda, Madhavananda. But don't go near them. They are so bad. They take old people and throw them in ditches. They beat children. They kill animals. They do every sinful activity. Actually, when Yamaraj asked his scribe, Chitraka, he said, how many sinful activities have they committed? And he said, oh, I have 100 scribes working 24 hours a day for a long period of time, and there are so many things that we have written down that it would fill up an ocean. That's how many sinful activities. So Nityananda approached them and he said, please chant the holy name. And they looked at each other and laughed. And they said, we will show you all about your holy name. And they started chasing Nityananda and Haridas. And they were running away. And Haridas said, just see what you've gotten us into. You did the wrong thing. The Brahman warned them. And Nityananda is running and saying, Haridas, we must do what Gauranga has told us. And he arrived at Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya said, forget about them. Just like in 1975, the police came to our temple in Argentina. There was a revolution going on. They broke down the doors. They came in with boots and guns and closed the temple. So when they told Prabhupada, they said, yes, this country is they're the biggest killers of town. Prabhupada said, we should leave that country. They don't deserve Krishna consciousness. But, of course, the devotee said, Prabhupada, we want to preach. Okay, go ahead. but, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, forget about them. But Nityananda thought, if I must convert them, because if they are converted to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, his fame will spread all over the free world. Therefore, I must be converted. He was more returned. Most when he came back, got hit in the head, etc. You know that story. So, this is Krishna. Krishna's same desire is being manifested here. All of you, he's saying all of us here in the material world, you are very dear to me. You are my parts and parcel. Namaya Rama says, Jiva Loke, Jiva Das Nata. You are very dear to me. You are my part. You are part of me. That's why you're very dear to me. Just like Prabhupada said many times, little finger, it's very insignificant. You could cut it off, it'd be a little painful, but after some time you wouldn't miss it very much. But if we get a little cut or a little infection on our little finger on the left hand or a little toe on the left foot, we will go to the hospital. We'll do anything for that toe. We don't just say cut it off. Just like there was some concern nowadays about artificial intelligence because they were doing an experiment and they asked one big artificial intelligence system, I can't remember the name of it, they said, how can we solve the problems of humanity? And the answer came, eliminate humanity. Logical answer. You want to solve the problem? Get rid of them all. No. Then there's no problem. So, but no, Krishna is not like that. He doesn't eliminate us. But sometimes his methodology may not be popular, and therefore the first principles of surrender given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Anukulyasya Sankalpam Patikulyasya Varjanam. That anything that Krishna wants, I will do it even if I don't like it. And anything that Krishna doesn't want, I will not do it even if I like it. So these two things are there. And if we can't do those two things, then it's very difficult to surrender to Krishna. But if we can do those two things, then our Krishna consciousness will flow. So this is, and of course, this chapter, it deals with opulences of Krishna in the material within the material energy. Krishna is the potency of a shark. If anyone sees a shark, you immediately, it's not that you think, oh, let me wrestle with the shark. No, you don't think like that. Maybe somebody, but most people wouldn't think. Some people like to wrestle with Krishna also. But most of us would not. We want to pray to Krishna. So, one time I was in the Bahamas when I was younger, before coming to Krishna consciousness. And I was snorkeling, and I came around a reef, and there was a big shark. And I was paralyzed. It was like maybe about, this far away. They just came around the corner, and there he is. And I didn't know what to do. I just looked at him. He was looking at me, and he opened his mouth. And I thought, uh-oh, this is it. And I didn't say Hare Krishna because I didn't know about that. And then he opened his mouth, and he opened his gill, I guess he was breathing, and he just took off. I got out of the water real fast. I actually cut my leg on the coral, and I just got up right over the coral. I wasn't going to stay, try to get back to the beach. So the point is that Krishna is powerful, or he is the greatness of the mountains, or the expansiveness of the ocean. So this is Krishna describing himself, just like if Arjuna felt very close to Krishna, he was very attracted to Krishna. But Krishna explains his opulences, just like you may meet someone and they may seem very nice and you like them automatically. It's like when I was in Chennai temple, before it was Chennai, it was Madras. First time I went there, and there was a big kirtan, and after the kirtan, one man came over and spoke to me, and I was the only foreigner, and he was speaking 5 minutes, and we finished. And then he was a nice man, but a very nice man. Thought maybe he has a little shop or something. And then some devotee said, "Do you know who he is?" No. He's the richest man in Madras. The wealthiest man in Madras. So I appreciated him more automatically. So therefore in this chapter, the better knowledge, now that I've given you knowledge of bhakti, I will increase your bhakti by letting you understand who I really am. He begins in the next chapter, in the next verse, by saying, Aham adirhi devanam. I am the source of all the demigods. They don't understand who I am. And I am the source of all the great sages. They don't understand who I am. Anyone understands who I am, not by knowledge. You can't understand Krishna by knowledge. Even if you go to so many lectures, or you have great intelligence, or you read many books, you can't understand them until until he reveals himself personally. And how will he reveal himself? As Srila Prabhupada says here, when you try to hear about him, when you try to serve him, when you try to satisfy him, then he will reveal himself. So this is Krishna. So, these are some thoughts on this verse. How we can understand the Supreme Personality of God. Is there any quick question? We have like maybe 3 minutes. Not according to that thought, but according to this. Any question, comment, doubt? No. Okay.
We were talking about how Krishna saved, about how Krishna was saying, "You're so dear to me," and he would do things to show how much we mean to him. Whatever he gives us, we just have to know that this is what he wants for us. How do we see that and also not mix that up with maybe these things are coming to us as a result of material nature and we're not probably doing everything we're supposed to do, like not mix up Krishna giving us mercy.
Who is the Lord of material nature? The material nature is Krishna's energy. If it's coming to us through material nature, it is our karma. But Krishna guarantees us. The Prabhupada says, when we surrender to Krishna, or when we're trying to surrender to Krishna, whatever comes through material nature, Krishna will lessen the effect. Just like yesterday I hit my head. So I was thinking probably I was supposed to get my head chopped off. I just scraped it a little bit. It hurt, but probably would have hurt a lot more if it would have got cut off. Or maybe I wouldn't feel it because I'd be dead. But so even if it's material nature, even if it's abominable, just like let's say somebody, some woman gets molested. That's horrible. But a Brahmin will understand that, and a devotee will understand, this happened to me because something I did in the past. But we don't accept that as the conclusion. The conclusion is, that's the philosophical conclusion. But the reality conclusion is, that person has to be punished. That's the duty of the Kshatriya. The Brahmins will explain why it happened philosophically. The Kshatriya will punish the offender. Both things. If we want to be peaceful in this world, we must understand both things. Just like there was one lady, her son was killed by another boy. He just mercilessly killed him for no reason. They went to court. And then the lady was put on the stand before the judge. And so the judge said, "How do you feel?" She said, "Oh, I forgive him. I forgive him. I understand. Probably he has bad upbringing or something, but he should be punished. Because otherwise he may do it again." So she forgave him. The mother, she forgave him. She was, a religious woman, wasn't it? Devotee. But still, he should be punished. So, both things have to be there. Sometimes, especially if we're a victim, we forget that I must have done something. Sometimes. Because some very horrible things happen to devoted people in general. But however bad it is, if I want to be cured of it, I should understand that otherwise I'll go through my whole life feeling like I'm a victim. So we should understand, yes, I was a victim of something, but ultimately it happened to me. Otherwise we may lose our faith in Krishna. Why did it happen? So that person should be punished, or maybe harmed, whatever. But of course, do they have capital punishment here? Just make the taxpayers pay for somebody for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Prabhupada didn't like, he was in favor of capital punishment. Manu Samhita says, if you don't have capital punishment, then you're doing harm to the perpetrator. Because if they don't get killed, they will have to get killed in their next life. So first you make them go through jail for the next 45 years, then they'll get born again and they have to be killed. So you know, if we don't have Manu Samhita, we have some laws made up by some people who have no idea what justice is. It's short-sighted justice. It's just what we see. But infallible justice is what is explained to us, what comes through Shruti. Anyway, whole other subject. But the point is that it doesn't matter what it is, we should understand there's some reason why it happened. However horrible or however wonderful. Just as we shouldn't think of something very nice happening, or Krishna's giving me some special benefit. It's my karma, but Krishna is making it more wonderful, somehow or another, so that I can be enthused and devotional service. So, therefore, Prabhupada said many times, we are suffering distress and happiness. We're suffering happiness. The happiness in this world is actually suffering. Or just a little bit of relief. Otherwise, I brought down my level of suffering from 10 to 7, and I feel good. Just like it was very hot. It's a little hot out there. Some of you are in the sun. Sorry about that. But, you know, so you get a fan. You're still a little hot, but it's some relief. Feel some relief. And that's material happiness. Anyway, now we have to stop for our arti. Shri Gaurachandra ki, Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Jai Gaur Pramanande Shri Prabhupada ki.